until I retired in 2003. But then I got another job for 10 more years. So I really retired in 2013.
Oh, where were you working at your second job?
I was, believe it or not, I was working for Mr. Ray Lindsey,
Oh.
taking care of his private car collection.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
No, it's funny how many, his name has come up in a couple of
right, because he wrote a book, which you have here,
Yeah,
of his life
he
history.
did the memoir class.
And he did the memoir class, and I worked on all of his cars, brought them into prime condition, and anytime they sneezed, I took care of them. And anytime, well, he was getting up in age, and anytime when I'd come over, sometimes he'd say, "Ed, just let's go take a ride." And we take out the Stanley Steamer, or the Cadillac, or one of the Model Ts, and we'd
That must have been a nice job, right?
Yes, it was interesting. It was a learning curve, a lot of which I didn't know anything about, but as people that know him, he said, somebody put it together so somebody could take it apart.
Now, were you a vintage car guy before that job?
Yes.
Okay.
I own two Model A's.
Right.
I own a 1929 Model A, and I own a 1930 Model A. So I was into, I call them antiques. You know, I like early cars, but his cars were early. His cars were like at the turn of the century. I know the Stanley Steamer was 1913.
Wow.
And I think the Cadillac was 03. The Model Ts were 1911 and 1914. And then we had some other cars which I don't know. We had a little steamer, which supposedly was at one of the first auto shows in Madison Square Garden, called a Victor. It was made by the Victor Bicycle Company. And we had a little car, electric car, believe it or not, called the Red Bug.
Wow.
Which I think was made to be used on golf courses.
And what year was that car?
The Red Bug, I really don't know. In the maybe 1910 or something in that area.
Now, he took all those cars out?
Yes, all his cars ran. All his cars were on the road, licensed and insured, and once a year, when he went to Florida, he took a different car.
Oh.
Every year.
Drove it to Florida?
No, he went in a car carrier.
Oh.
He towed it in a car carrier to Florida. Once a year, a different car went to Florida. They never brought the same car.
Almost like he didn't want them to feel jealous of one another.
Right. But, and then one year he took the Cadillac down there, and there was a car show, I think it's by invitation only, a place called Amelia Island. It's by invitation only for you to bring a car. And unfortunately, the Cadillac laid an egg. It wouldn't start.
Oh.
So he showed it, but it didn't drive. It didn't run. And everyone said, well, it's this, you got to do that. Well, it never ran in Florida, and he brought it back, and he said, Ed, they told me to do this. I said, I don't think that's the trouble. He said, no, these people are experts. They told me to do this. I said, okay, I'll do it, but I don't think that's the problem. And I would do whatever he told me, and I said, Ray, it's no better, it still doesn't start. I think it's this. He says, well, I don't think so. They didn't say it was that. He said, well, I got to go in and eat lunch. Okay, so he went in to eat lunch, and I did my own thing. And I got it running and started. Well, a one-cylinder car, you have to hear it from a distance. It goes ka-clunk, ka-clunk, clunk every time the one cylinder fires. And he came running out of the house. Ed, what did you do? And I told him. He said, do anything you want. And from there on in, it was Ed, do anything you want.
You passed the test.
I passed the
you
test.
earned that.
So that was an interesting
That title.
experience
Do anything you want.
for both of us. Chicken and
That would
turkey.
be
So he
fun.
would say, he said, he had a store on Sunrise Highway before they widened it. Barbecue chickens.
Oh.
Oh, was he in the chicken business?
Yeah, he had a chicken
He was a
business.
chicken farm.
Another
Yeah, if you
chicken
wanted a barbecue for a wedding or some festival, he would bring the grill to your place, and he'd bring the raw chickens, and he'd grill them right there.
Wow.
And he also barbecued chickens. They said he had the best barbecue chickens in the area. He also dressed and froze chickens and sold them to other people, as well as turkeys. The thing with the turkeys was, he said at that time everyone's raising chickens. I got to do something else. So he raised turkeys. And
He was
man.
He was because he wrote that book. Wasn't he something to do with Cornell Cooperative
Yeah,
Extension
he was
also,
a,
Cornell.
something to do with an agriculture
Yeah.
inspector for Long Island. He would visit your farm and tell you what you were doing wrong, or you'd call him with a question and he'd tell you what to do. He originally came off of Upstate Farm,
Right.
but he said he didn't like growing things. He liked fixing machinery. If the harvester broke or something like that, and he liked taking care of the animals. Because he also, I think, after the war, he was in the Second World War. He was in the Air Force. After the war, I guess on the GI Bill, he went to the ag school at Cornell University.
Right.
And part of it was when you have two horses pulling a wagon, you had to put on all the strapping. I think they call it tack. You had to put all the tack on the horses, and they had to learn how to do it. So he said to the teacher, like the first week, I can do that. So the teacher said, show me. And big bang boom, he harnesses up all these horses. The teacher said, you don't have to tend the course, you got an A. But Ray wasn't afraid to do anything. To purchase those old cars, to get them running and to drive them. I think you had to have been a very gutsy person. A very gutsy person.
And to write, too. I think.
And he wrote the book.
Yeah, he joined that memoir class. And
And it's a
to do
very
that,
well-written book.
Yeah. It is. It's interesting, too.
I would read when I
He
was
did that
on-
for his kids.
What's that?
For his kids, he did that. That's
Yes,
what he said, yeah.
he really did it for his children. They're all mentioned in the back. His children, his grandchildren, his
Right.
great-grandchildren. I think they're his great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah, I think he had a bunch of,
Quite a family.
yeah.
Quite a family. I still see some of them. One of them is coming up from Florida in October, and there's one still living here in the house. I still see them and talk to them. They were like family to me. They really were very nice people. We used to have a car show there once a year.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
About the car
too.
show?
The car show.
Until it got too big.
The gathering.
The gathering.
Yeah.
So that we had four aisles of cars.
Well, what happened when it got too big?
Well, I think that was maybe the last one. And then we had a small one after he passed on in remembrance. And that was the last one. That was a lot of people brought their antique vehicles. It was quite a day. Quite a day.
Were there any speeches or anything in memory
Yes,
of him?
yes. I mean, he had a friend that has a printing business in Sayville, and he also plays music. So he brought an audio system, and we have different speeches. He didn't like to be talked about, of course. But his book was quite an undertaking. I read it. He wrote a very beautiful script, and then he sent it down to one of his granddaughters in Virginia, I believe. And she would correct any English. I don't think much of the English needed correcting. The only thing, he used words that you needed a dictionary. But she put it all together for him. It even has a Library of Congress number.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how they accomplished all that.
He was in the class. We have the video online.
You have the video
Reading it.
where he tells one of the stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pretty funny story.
It's a funny story. All of his stories. He lived quite an interesting life. Oh, matter of fact, the little Victor, they had a run in England. They call it London to Brighton, where they drive old cars from London to Brighton. I think Brighton is like a Coney Island. It's like their Coney Island. And he asked his children, should I do it, should I do it? And they said, Dad, do it. You only get one time in a lifetime to do it. And they took this little steam car called a Victor, and they boxed it up, and it was shipped on a boat to England.
Wow.
And he drove it from London to Brighton.
Did he place in the race?
Well, yeah, I think you just have to. I think just finishing is
An accomplishment.
is an accomplishment.
Getting the car across the...
Yeah, so even the car making the trip
Yeah.
is an accomplishment.
And the car is called
A Victor.
Victor. What year was that? Do you
The
know?
Victor, I don't know. It was a very early car, also by maybe around 1910. Supposedly when they had the first automobile show in the original Madison Square Garden, there are pictures of the Victor there. So that's the only history we know about it. He also had a Sears. The Sears store sold a car. It's a 2-cylinder air-cooled car.
When was that? What was that, like the 60s or something, or the 50s?
No, this was also the early
early.
1910s or so. Sears sold, I think Sears sold something later on, a modern car. But I think this was the first car that Sears sold, and it had the Sears name. It had a brass plate, and it said Sears. And I got that car to run. I got the Sears to run. It was 2-cylinder air-cooled car. And I got that to run, and I maintained the Sears. That was very, very interesting. And at one of our car shows, I drove the Sears all day around, and I took people for a ride.
Wow.
That was fun.
There's a lot of cars.
That was a lot of.
Were you interested in cars, and is that how you met him, or did you meet him and
No,
become
well,
interested in cars?
I was interested in cars. I had my first Model A, and we were riding down Locust, and my wife saw a Model A, because there also was a Model A in the family. That belonged to his wife, Barbara. But that was Barbara's car. That wasn't his car. That was his wife's car. My wife saw a Model A coupe down this long driveway. And my wife said, go take a look. Go talk to the man. Well, that was the beginning of my troubles. So the car had a leaking water pump. And I said to Ray, I said, I could fix that. I said, but I'm working now, and I'm retiring in December. He says, what's your phone number? I'll call you then. That was Ray. And
So this
believe
was
it or not,
2002, 2003.
2003. Believe it or not, in December 2003, the phone rang.
A man of his word.
A man of his word. And I fixed the leaking water pump in Barbara's Model A coupe.
Now, was his wife still alive at that time?
Yes, Barbara was alive at that time. Barbara drove that car. She used to drive it in the Memorial Day Parade here every year.
Oh.
And Barbara, he had a lot of property there, 5 acres.
Right.
and they have a big tractor, a farm tractor. Barbara drove the farm tractor to cut the grass. That was Barbara's job. Barbara cut grass. And that was Barbara's car. Matter of fact, one time, here's a funny character. I changed the spark plugs in the Model A, and I gave Ray the bill. He said, I don't pay for that. That's Barbara's car. So I don't know what their arrangement was. But he was pretty spry. We would do things, and I would have to run after him. I mean, I ran after him. They give me a list. Sometimes when he
You guys got your exercise running and you chased.
I'd run. He'd give me a. Sometimes when he'd go away, like when he'd go on vacation or he'd go to Florida, he'd give me a list, and yellow paper, yellow legal paper, every line. I said, I don't know if I can do all this. He said, "Well, do as much as you can."
Did he go away for the winter?
Yes, he usually at that time he went away to Florida. He had a condo in Florida.
Oh, wow.
He went away to Florida, and
Left the cars with you except for one.
left the cars with me to take care of,
Lucky.
and the tractors to start so that the batteries didn't run down.
Yeah. So he was lucky to find you.
I was lucky to find him. He was lucky to find me.
And
we-
your wife was the one that brought you together, right?
My wife said, I said, that's private property. You can't drive down there. He said, well, what are they going to do? Throw you out?
What's your schedule there? Did you have a set
I had a
schedule?
sch- I had a
Monday to Friday?
I worked there usually, unless it was something explicit or we had a definite time, I worked there 3 hours every afternoon.
Oh, that's
okay.
perfect.
Wow.
It was perfect, right?
Yeah.
I was able to do shopping in the morning and drive my wife places in the morning, go places in the morning, take care of banking. And every afternoon from 1 to 4, I was with him. And sometimes, when he was away, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do it. So I just go there in the morning also and take care of it and accomplish it. It was a learning curve. It was really a learning curve. I mean, who works on that variety of vehicles?
Yeah, that's really for a car lover.
Right, but it was an ideal job. I learned a lot. It gave me the fortitude and the courage to bring one of my cars now almost to 100% completion. It's like now, I'd say 97.5% complete.
Wow.
I bought a car that wasn't the car. It was baskets of parts, which no one should ever do. I don't advise anyone ever to do that. You have to be crazy to do that. And if you do it, you will become crazy.
Yeah.
Right?